So, I made it this far. Ave Maria, gratia plena. I don't know the rest in Latin. But she'll understand my native tongue too, won't she? Holy Mary, Queen of Heaven, Merciful Mother, Just Virgin, loving, yes, loving and forgiving. Please look down on me and hear me, a great sinner. I want to say sorry and repent, to do penance for being such a villain and for all the terrible things I did. I have sinned terribly. I killed a man, Runt. He was a criminal and a murderer, and he deserved it. But I shouldn't have killed him, even though he deserved it. It's not for me to judge and punish others. It was a sin, committed in anger, and it burdens my soul. Please forgive me, and let me make amends. And I did all sorts of wicked deeds. I lied and stole and behaved like a villain and a thug. I'm truly sorry for my deeds, and I promise I won't do them again. And I'll make a donation to the church to make amends for everything. And I have fornicated. I'm ashamed of it. But I'll be more virtuous from now on, I promise. And I killed other people too. Oh, merciful Mother of God. Sometimes righteously, sometimes I had to, but sometimes I was simply overcome by anger and... Oh, please forgive me. Well, as I said, I have sinned. But at heart, I'm not a bad person. I know I failed in some of the trials you sent me, but please, give me a chance to make amends. I beg your forgiveness, Almighty God. Please forgive a humble sinner, as Jesus Christ forgave those who nailed him to the cross. Mother of God, intercede with God for the souls of my parents, and let them find mercy in the kingdom of heaven. They were honest people, who didn't deserve what happened to them. And I promise I'll be virtuous, the most virtuous of men, so as not to bring shame to their memory. Amen.
Pater noster, qui es in celis, sanctificetur nomen tuum, veniat regnum tuum, fiat voluntas tua, sicut in cielo et in terra. Panem nostrum super substantialem da nobis hodie, et dimite nobis debita nostra, sicut et nos dimissimus debitoribus nostris, et ne inducas nos in tentationem, sed libera nos a malo. Pater noster, qui es in celis, sanctificetur nomen.
Charles IV, King of Bohemia and Holy Roman Emperor, had a long and successful reign. The empire he ruled from Prague expanded, and his subjects lived in peace and prosperity. When the emperor died, the whole empire mourned. More than 7,000 people accompanied him on his last procession. The heir to the throne of the flourishing empire was Charles's son, Wenceslas IV, whose father had prepared him for this moment all his life. But Wenceslas did not take after his father. He neglected affairs of state for more frivolous pursuits. He even failed to turn up for his own coronation as emperor, which did little to endear him to the Pope. Wenceslas the Idle did not impress the imperial nobility either. His difficulties mounted until the nobles, exasperated by the inaction of their ruler, turned for help to his half-brother, King Sigismund of Hungary.
So,
Pater noster, qui es in celis, sanctificetur nomen tuum, veniat regnum tuum, fiat voluntas tua, sicut in cielo et in terra. Panem nostrum super substantiale da nobis hodie, et dimitte nobis debita nostra, sicut et nos dimissimus debitoribus nostris, et ne inducas nos in tentatione, sed libera nos a malo. Pater noster, qui es in celis, sanctificetur nomen.
I want to make a donation to the church as a token of repentance for the things I did wrong. Here you are.
And I gladly accept your offering, my son. I'll pray for your forgiveness. But I'm curious, how come you got so devout all of a sudden? Has something happened?
Johanka sent me to do penance to the Virgin Mary and make a donation to her church.
Johanka?
Yes, Father, it's a long story.
Not to worry, lad. I had to listen to a lot of long stories at the university in Prague. Each of the masters tried to speak longer than the others so as not to appear less learned. I can handle it, believe me.
All right, if you like. Johanka is a girl from Skalitz. I've known her since, well, all my life. But recently, some, peculiar things have been going on.
Haven't they everywhere? These are dark times.
No, wait though. This is something different. The Virgin Mary has been appearing to Johanka.
What? Are you serious?
Yes. Our Lady visits her in her dreams and shows her, well, I don't know what. Johanka says the Virgin tells her some words of wisdom and wants her to pass them on to the people.
Good Lord. What does she show her? Tell me.
Well, once she preached to the people about how we were all sinners and must repent. Otherwise, beasts of hell would come for us and rip us to pieces. Something like that. But if we're virtuous, Our Lady will drive the beasts away and save us. Of course, when Johanka speaks, it sounds a lot better, really. She speaks completely differently than she usually does. Like some kind of angel.
Damn. That sounds very... I don't know, Henry. You wouldn't be making it up by any chance.
No, I swear by the Blessed Virgin, it's all true. I was there myself.
I see. Well, that is really extraordinary. And what do the people think of all this?
Well, the people of Sasau go to listen to her. Well, some of them.
That's interesting. Very interesting indeed. The masters of Prague ought to hear this. Some might even agree. And what about you, Henry? What do you think of it?
I believe everything she says. Johanka would never lie, and she's helped so many people. She's the most virtuous person I know. The Virgin Mary couldn't have chosen anyone better. And what do you think? You're a learned man.
It's hard to say. Maybe I should go to Sasau and see for myself. Thank you for telling me, lad. One thing is certain, though. There are interesting times ahead. That you can be sure of.
More interesting than now. Don't know if I'll be able to handle that. Anyway, I should get back to Johanka. I shouldn't keep her waiting. God be with you, Father.
Wait a moment. You came here the whole way from Sasau on foot?
That's right, Father. Path or no path, over hill and vale, trudging my weary way.
Ah, then may God watch over you and lighten your load. Good luck, then.
What are you snooping around here for?
what happened to Johanka?
Nothing good, I'm sorry to say. She was locked up by the Papal Inquisitor Bishop Yaroslav of Benishov. It seems he somehow caught wind of this preaching of hers. He's accused her of spreading heresy and had her placed under arrest.
Well, we must do something.
Well, you can try talking to Bishop Yaroslav. He can tell you more. As a servant of the royal hetman, your name ought to carry some weight with him. But watch your step. This matter is entirely in the hands of church law, so you mustn't overestimate your lay authority here.
Right. I'll go and see this Bishop Yaroslav of Benishov.
May God go with you. And thank you, Henry. I'm glad you're standing up for Johanka. If you need anything, do come and see me. Goodbye.
Yeah! Sir, I am...
Henry of Skalitz, from the garrison of the Royal Hetman, Sir Radzig Kobyla. I've heard a lot about you, my son. I'm pleased to meet you.
Bishop Yaroslav, sir, my lord, to what do I owe your interest in my humble self?
I was told you survived the massacre in Skalitz and warned the Talmberg garrison. You tracked down the raiders of a stud farm in Neuhof, wasn't it? To their hideout in the woods. And then you led Sir Radzig and his armed company there and joined bravely in the skirmish, and even killed their notorious leader by your own hand. And I believe you have many other deeds to your name. That's quite remarkable, considering your age, is it not?
I had some unsettled accounts to deal with, and I still do.
You're clearly not lacking in determination. A word of caution, though. Fervor can easily lead to recklessness. Nevertheless, I assume you came on account of Johanka.
Yes.
Then tell me what's on your mind.
Why did you have her imprisoned?
Because she broke the promise she made to me and persisted in actions that bear the signs of heresy.
And what will happen to Johanka now?
I must weigh the gravity of her transgressions and investigate these alleged visions of hers. I consider it very improbable that she is indeed being visited by the Blessed Virgin. Nevertheless, I cannot at this time rule it out entirely.
So you think it could be true? In that case, Johanka hasn't done anything wrong.
It's not that straightforward. Even if her visions were real, she was at fault for interpreting them as she saw fit and preaching to the people.
When will you decide, Monsignor?
As soon as I am fully informed of the facts. Although it seems the matter is a little more complicated than I first thought. I will call Johanka and the witnesses, question them, and then pronounce a verdict.
And will there be anyone there to defend Johanka?
Do you doubt my judgment?
I would never be so bold, sir. But surely it would be only just that someone should speak for Johanka about all her good deeds and so forth?
Naturally, I will also question those who would speak in her defense. Since you are interceding, I expect you have someone in mind?
Yes. Actually, me.
As I surmised. But this matter does not directly concern you. Why should I allow you to appear before the court?
Johanka is my neighbour, and I have a Christian duty to come to her aid. I can't just stand by and do nothing.
I have to concur with you on that. Your concern seems sincere, so I will grant your request. Very well. You will defend Johanka. You may speak in her defense if you so wish, and you may also bring witnesses. I will question any such witnesses, and naturally I shall question Johanka too.
Thank you, Monsignor. In that case, I'll need to speak to Johanka first.
That won't be possible. It's forbidden by the Inquisition procedure. Until the entire matter is resolved, Johanka can speak only to me and no one else. I would like to expedite the matter. The trial will take place in Sassaw Church in 3 days' time at the latest. Come and let me know when you're ready to proceed. In the meantime, I will continue my investigation.
Very well, Monsignor. I had better get on with it then, sir. Farewell.
Before you go, you know Johanka longer than anyone else. You spent a lot of time with her, as I've discovered. Tell me, my son, truthfully, what do you think of this whole affair?
Johanka helped a lot of people. She worked her fingers to the bone helping Brother Nicodemus with the sick and injured.
That is certainly commendable. What else can you tell me about her?
Johanka is an honest girl and virtuous. She's a good Christian who attends church and thinks of others.
Good. Please continue.
About the Virgin Mary? I believe the Virgin does visit her. Johanka is honest. She wouldn't lie about such a thing. And the things she says sound truthful and compelling. It really does seem like a heavenly revelation. Who else could it be from but the Virgin Mary?
The origin of these so-called visions of hers must be investigated. But thank you for your candor. Is there anything else you can tell me?
She's worried about Matthias. He's from Skalitz too, and she's very fond of him. But he was wounded in a raid on Merhojed recently, and since then he's been lying in a fever. Johanka believes that if she does what the Blessed Virgin wants of her, Matthias might be healed.
Interesting. Anything else?
Well, before, in Skalitz, Johanka was sort of, well, just a simple village girl. I never imagined I'd hear her talk in the way she does now. She's completely transformed.
A simple village girl. I see. Do continue.
Maybe. She didn't treat everyone equally. She took better care of her former Skalitz neighbours than of the other patients, of course.
It's understandable, yes. Some people are dearer to her than others, but whether by doing so she sinned. Anything else, Henry?
That's about all I can tell you.
Thank you, my son. One more thing before you go. Let me remind you that it's your Christian duty to report anything suspicious going on concerning the Church and the true faith, if you're aware of anything of the sort in these parts. If you prove yourself a commendable servant of the Church, I would also take that into account in judging Johanka's case.
All right, Monsignor. I'll bear that in mind.
Farewell.
Brother Nicodemus.
You've heard something?
The Inquisitor has decided that Johanka will be tried, but he's agreed that I can defend her.
That's really quite unusual. It must mean he hasn't come to a clear conclusion yet.
Yes. I'll get her out of it.
I'm afraid it may not be that easy. The thing is, I expect Johanka will say the same things before the court that she's been preaching.
What are you saying?
Well, I've been thinking about what she's been saying, and it seems to me her preaching has a certain progression. Are you acquainted with the notion of the 3 orders of man?
Yeah, I heard something about it. Those who work, those who pray, and those who fight. But what's all that got to do with Johanka?
Well, I noticed in her first sermon she primarily addressed the concerns of the common folk, and in the second, she criticized the nobility.
Ah. So you think she might start talking about the church?
Yes, I'm afraid she might. I dread to think how that might end up. Henry, you must warn her against that. She must show humility before the Inquisitor, and the wisest course would be to admit to being wrong. She's rather stubborn, but perhaps she'll listen to you.
But the Inquisitor said no one's allowed to see her.
No one except the Inquisitor's own men. You'll just have to think something up. I'm afraid Johanka's fate is mainly in your hands now. I'm relying on you.
See you later.
I can't sleep again.
Adela, the Inquisitor is going to try Johanka in court.
Oh, Lord. I hope she's acquitted. I was absolutely devastated when they took her away.
I need people to speak in her defense, and I'd like to ask you to do it.
I don't want to go there. Really. I'm afraid of that Inquisitor. But you helped me, and so did Johanka. It's only right that I should try and help her. But what am I supposed to say there? I'm just a simple village girl. I don't know anything about these things.
That doesn't matter. You just be yourself. It should be enough to talk about all the good Johanka does here, and how she helps others. I'll send for you if you're needed.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
I hope I can be of help to you, Knight.
Whose house is this?
It's our local custodians, the most esteemed Sir Sebastian, Baron von Berg.
I'm much obliged.
Don't mention it.
You look bored.
Beyond tears.
How can you be bored here in Sasau? In such a holy place, filled with knowledge.
Don't even talk to me about it. They won't let you touch the books, they don't want to talk to you, and when I wanted to look at the remains of St. Procopius at least, they ran me off. Me! Like some kind of thief. What good is the whole blasted monastery if I can't even do that?
Maybe I could help you.
How? You're not planning some mischief, are you?
No, not at all. I was going to bring you something from the cave under the monastery where he spent his time.
You can get in there. You could touch it for luck, and then I'd return it.
Oh, now. You do that for me?
Of course.
Then I'd be very grateful to you.
I've got a bowl for you from the cave of St. Procopius.
A bowl? I was expecting something a little different.
Behold.
Ah. Is it really from St. Procopius?
Yes. From his cave. A truly astonishing place. This surely has miraculous powers.
You're right. My God, you're right. Such holiness. I'm in your debt, Henry. How can I repay you?
Thanks, but I don't want anything. I was glad to help.
Truly? Well, thank you.
My pleasure.
And Henry,
Yes?
I just wanted to touch it for luck. If you took something you shouldn't have, I expect you'll put it back. God be with you.
I'm honored that a knight such as you takes an interest in me.
I need something from you, sir. I suppose you heard that Johanka was locked up by the Inquisitor and is facing charges of heresy.
I did, and it's most disturbing news.
What you might not know is that he's agreed that I can defend her at the trial.
You? Do you even know what to say?
Sure I know. It'll turn out just fine. Trust me. But I need you to testify at the court. In Johanka's defense, of course.
Naturally. You don't think I could just sit here and do nothing? Besides, the bishop has already insisted that I appear before the court.
Oh. All right.
One moment. I apologize if I was a little hasty. This whole affair has left me anxious. I appreciate that you want to defend her. However, I don't think it would have any effect. No offense, but I don't think you'll be able to achieve anything in court. I'm afraid the Inquisitor will judge as he sees fit, whatever anyone says. But I have an idea how you could help.
Oh? How's that?
Flee. With Johanka, of course.
No, I don't think that's a good idea. I'm sure Johanka will be acquitted by the court and everything will be all right. Running would just confirm the Inquisitor's suspicions, and she'd always be looking over her shoulder.
I don't agree. As I said, I don't believe you can affect the outcome of the court. If Johanka flees, yes, she'll have to lie low for a while, but in time it will all blow over. You can take her anywhere, as long as it's far enough from here. A girl like that will always find her feet. She can easily hide out somewhere where she's not known. Maybe there could even be a place for her on my estate. Think about it. But whatever you decide, if Johanka comes to any harm, you'll have me to answer to. I'm very fond of her, and her of me, and I don't want anything to happen to her, understand? But if everything ends well, I'll show you my gratitude, I assure you. Farewell.
Witnesses can be summoned for Johanka's trial. So I wanted to ask you if you'd give a testimony. Maybe some learned speech in her defense?
I'd be glad to do it. Johanka deserves my help. Such testimonies could carry a lot of weight. You should try and get as many as you can.
God be with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll bring it right away.
Goodman Pavel, you're still here. That's a relief. I was afraid I'd miss you.
Yes, still here, but not for long. I had some business to deal with, but now that's out of the way and I'm getting ready to leave. What was it you wanted?
You might have heard that Johanka was arrested by the Inquisitor and is facing trial.
Indeed, word has reached me. Poor girl.
I'd like to ask you to speak to the court in Johanka's defense.
Of course, Henry. You have my word. And the word of a burgher of Colleen ought to mean something. But to speak in defense of someone accused of heresy is no small matter. What do you want me to say?
The same thing you told me. That it was a sacred sign that you happened to be nearby when Johanka was speaking, and so on.
True. I'll tell the bishop that. You can rest assured.
Thank you very much. Please wait here a few more days for the court to convene, then I'll send for you.
All right. For Johanka's sake, I'll wait. See you later.
Yeah.
Have a look at these cucumbers.
bloody
They'll stay
tears of
firm all
Saint
winter.
James,
Buy them before someone else does.
Master Bailiff, Inquisitor Yaroslav is going to try Johanka.
I know. He was here asking questions, too.
Oh? What did he want to know?
Various things. Like how things are here, whether people are honest, whether we observe the fest days, and so forth. And then he asked about Johanka. About what she preaches, whether people come to listen to her and that. He's been talking to a lot of other people in Sasau, too. I even heard that Katra, the swordsmith's wife, invited him to dine with them.
That's interesting. Thanks for telling me. Was he just asking questions, or does he want you to testify before the court?
Yes, he did ask me to testify, and I'm none too happy about it.
I see. And what are you going to say about her?
It depends what I'm asked, but there's not much I can say. I don't know Johanka very well. She seems virtuous and self-sacrificing to me. She's never done anything wrong, and no one here ever had a cross word to say about her. Until recently. Maybe some gossip about her and Sir Sebastian. But I've heard similar talk about half the women folk here.
Now that's just idle gossip. Johanka is a virtuous girl.
True. But then there's that preaching of hers. Folk have been falling out. They're split according to whether they believe Johanka or not. I don't know quite what to think of it myself. But I don't want to jump to conclusions. I'll wait and see what the learned bishop has to say.
Thank you for speaking openly, Master Bailiff.
Goodbye. Clear off. No one's allowed to talk to Johanka. Bishop Yaroslav's orders.
I know. I was just testing you. And you passed. I'm with the bishop's entourage, and I'm here at his command. Let me in to talk to Johanka.
In that case, you surely know that everyone who comes from the bishop has to show a document to prove it.
Good, good. Your diligence is commendable. I don't have the document on me at present, though. I left it at the monastery.
Sorry, sir. But you'll have to go and get it. I can't let you in otherwise. I wouldn't want to anger the Monsignor.
Of course. And you can actually read, can you?
A little, sir, yes. That's why they put me here.
Very wise. You're clearly the right man for the job. Very well. I'll be back soon with that paper.
Good luck, then.
It's hard to resist. You'll not find better things anywhere.
What? Hey.
Is something the matter?
Father, the Inquisitor has had Johanka thrown in jail.
I know, son.
He's planning a hearing.
Rightly so. It's about time this whole matter was dealt with.
What do you think about it, then?
As I say, it's a good thing that the matter is being investigated. The things Johanka has been preaching are, to say the least, disturbing. Who knows what these dreams are that she speaks of? And her words are only putting ideas in people's heads and leading them astray. Now, instead of going to church, as they should, they go to her in the false belief that they will find solace. It's creating a chasm between the people and the church and leading them away from the true teaching left to us by Christ. They're misguided and swamped in heretical ideas.
But Johanka is only saying what the Virgin Mary has told her. What can be wrong with that?
And how do you know the Virgin is really talking to her?
Well, I believe she's telling the truth.
Ah, but you can't be sure, can you? Do you really think a girl from the stable knows God's teaching better than the church? Better than the generations of church fathers and learned scholars since the time of Christ, who have studied the sacred scriptures and their correct interpretation? With all the evil that's already going on in this province, the last thing people need is a false prophet.
Christ also came from a stable, though?
There's no comparison. Christ was the Son of God. Enough of this. Bishop Yaroslav asked me to present my suspicions before the court, and that's what I intend to do. He will then resolve the whole matter. He is, after all, more qualified than anyone to do so.
If you say so, Father.
Farewell.
Welcome, Henry. Well, how did it go with that husband of mine?
Well, I tried all sorts of things. I did everything in my power. But nothing helped.
Oh, Henry. You were my last hope. All I can do now is pray to the Virgin Mary for a miracle.
I need your help with something. I'm sure you've heard. Johanka was locked up by the Inquisitor.
Who hasn't? The whole of Sasso is talking about it. And the Inquisitor was asking around about her.
I'd like to ask you to appear before the court and say something in Johanka's defense.
I understand, but you'll have to forgive me. I don't want to show my face there. Never mind speak for Johanka. I wouldn't want people to associate me with her. What with her being a heretic, see?
Huh. people and their evil tongues. But I understand. It's a tricky business. I won't push you.
What'll it be? I've come for a couple of things I'm talking about.
From the woods or from the pen, it all tastes delicious. Garlic, onions, mushrooms, and asparagus. Come right up. No need to be shy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm here about Johanka.
You're that fella of hers, are you? What do you want?
No. I'm just a friend of hers. Matthias is her fella.
Huh. God knows how many she has.
I heard you invited Bishop Yaroslav to come and dine with you?
Yes, so what? Bishop Yaroslav is an esteemed visitor to Sassau, and it's only fitting he should be suitably hosted by devout burghers.
What have you got against Johanka?
Nothing. The question is, what has she got against us? Tell me that.
What?
She turns up here and tries to tell us how to live our lives. Says the Virgin Mary whispers to her in the night. Yeah, I'm sure. To a simple village wench. I'd like to know who's really putting those ideas in her head. She's just getting people all worked up. Men, especially. Coming around here with her nonsense. Sassau is a decent, orderly place, I'll have you know. We don't want any trouble here. All this talk about hellfire and the end of the world. God have mercy. No one is interested in what she has to say. All they want is some spectacle. She ought to have thought twice before she started. Not that she wasn't warned.
What do you mean, warned?
As I said, she was told.
Tell me everything you know. I represent the royal hetman, so don't try and keep anything from me.
If you must know, some of the fellas want to have it out with her and tell her to stop. No one wants her speeches here. But would she listen? No. The devil possessed her to bring harm to us.
So it was you who sent those men?
All I wanted was to protect the Sassau folk against her poisonous tongue. And I'll do just that. The Monsignor asked me to testify in court. And I'll tell everything I know there.
And I'll do likewise. Farewell.
Go. God be with you.
Yeah.
Monsignor, I've heard of various irregularities in the province that might be of interest to you.
Very good, my son. A good Christian certainly shouldn't conceal such things. Please, speak.
A demon's skull was found on the church building site.
Yes. I heard something about it. A disturbing report. Tell me what you know about it.
It was a deception, sir. Someone made it with evil intentions, to frighten people. I found the skull and brought it to the local knacker. He confirmed it was a human skull with animal horns stuck on.
You did the right thing, Henry, in uncovering the deception and in telling me about it.
There are interesting things going on inside the monastery.
In the monastery? What kind of things?
Oh, various things that people are talking about. There's a lot of talk about the construction of the new church and how much it must be costing. But actually, nothing that would interest you, really. I won't waste your time with it.
As you wish.
That's all,
All right, Henry. Thank you. And I hope you're not keeping anything from me.
I'm ready, Monsignor.
Excellent. I have also completed my investigation. We may commence then with the proceedings?
Yes.
Good. I will send for everyone who is to bear witness and have Johanka brought before the court. We'll commence first thing tomorrow morning.
Yes, sir.
One more thing. These are solemn proceedings that demand a certain decorum. I won't tolerate any clanking armor or otherwise inappropriate attire. You will wear this robe.
Of course. Thank you, Monsignor.
Very well. Rest now, and we'll meet in the morning. I'll be with you. Let us begin. I, Bishop Yaroslav of Benishov, by the grace of God, Papal Inquisitor, have come here to Sassaw in response to reports of Marian visitations and the preaching activities of one Johanka, a commoner. And I have found, indeed, that by her arbitrary words she's been leading good people astray and encouraging their rebellion against their betters. Furthermore, Johanka has attempted to usurp the glory that belongs alone to Holy Mother Church, and to appoint herself as an intermediary of the wisdom and grace of Almighty God. This does not behove any layperson, and certainly not a woman. It is therefore necessary to remedy her transgressions, and to investigate the extent and the basis of her misguidance. Or, as the case may be, heresy. Henry of Skalitz has elected to appear here in Johanka's defense, and his wish has been allowed. Anyone who elects to speak here does so before God, and shall be bound by a most sacred oath, to speak only the truth. I will first hear the testimony of Father Fabian, who sent me word of this matter, and who should best know what deeds are done in his parish. Father Fabian, will you tell us what Johanka has been proclaiming?
Johanka claims that she has received visitations from Our Lady, the Holy Mother of God, who speaks to her in the night. It is an outrageous claim that I hold to be entirely untrue.
And did Johanka come forward to ask your advice regarding these alleged apparitions?
She did not. Instead, she took it upon herself to spread her supposed wisdom to the people.
And prior to this, did Johanka attend church? Did you see her at your sermons, Father?
I did not, Monsignor. I believe Johanka is deliberately avoiding the church. Instead, she meets her followers secretly in the woods and preaches to them. Either she made everything up, or the devil himself is whispering in her ear.
Indeed. Avoidance of the church is one of the distinguishing signs of heresy.
As I surmised, Monsignor.
Monsignor, would you please hear the testimony of the respected burgher Pavel of Colleen? He will testify that Johanka isn't making anything up.
Well, I'm very curious what this Pavel will tell us. Call Pavel of Colleen. I'm a little surprised to find a counselor of Colleen here, especially you, who makes no secret of your animosity towards Sasau Monastery.
True. Although I have only criticized the monastery in secular matters of property, which concerned a dispute with the town of Colleen, and therefore my duties as a counselor.
Pavel, please tell us about your recent experience.
I'm all ears, Goodman.
Monsignor, some years ago I hid some money in Sasau woods. When I found myself here again recently and heard Johanka's words, I remembered that matter. Johanka made me aware of my inordinate love of wealth, and I resolved to donate the money in question for the common good of Sasau. For this, I needed an honest intermediary who would locate the money. In this, too, Johanka helped me by putting me in touch with Henry here. By the grace of God, he found the long-lost treasure and donated it for the good of Sasau. The whole matter I regard as the intervention of the Holy Spirit.
An interesting tale, Goodman Pavel.
Not only that, it's also evidence of divine providence, and that Johanka isn't making anything up. She wasn't possessed by an evil spirit. On the contrary, Our Lady really did speak to her.
I must concur with that, Monsignor, because I was subsequently also visited in a dream by the Virgin Mary.
What? You too?
Yes. She appeared in a blue cloak and waved to me.
Do you swear that what you say is true, Pavel?
I swear by Almighty God, Monsignor.
Remarkable. Truly remarkable. Very well, Goodman. Thank you for your testimony. You may stand down.
Even if it were true, why would Our Lady choose a simple village girl like Johanka?
You're right, Father Fabian. That is quite untoward. Let's proceed then. Is there anything else you want to add, Henry?
Yes. Please call Brother Nicodemus. He has something to say about it. He's a man of learning and knows more about these things than I do.
Certainly. I also wish to hear his testimony. Call him. Nicodemus, for some time you were insisting that the infirmary needed extra pairs of hands. It was only at your request that Johanka, against all accepted custom, was allowed inside the monastery walls. I've already spoken to Abbot Peter about her, but please tell me how Johanka behaved.
Monsignor, I must stand behind Johanka. The girl is a treasure. Selfless, charitable, and good-hearted. She helped more people here than anyone else. I have never seen her do anything that would contradict the behavior of a good Christian. She never discussed questions of faith with me. She was always focused only on her work, which she carried out impeccably.
And afterwards, when she began making claims of Marian apparitions?
Yes. Yes, that's quite an extraordinary thing. The things she preached couldn't have come from any of the brothers, or from books, because she can't read. Therefore, I believe the Blessed Virgin really spoke to her.
Nonsense. She made the whole thing up. Or someone did prompt her. You're very keen to defend her, brother. It makes me wonder whether she didn't get her wisdom from you.
I already said she got none of it from me, and I would never lie before Almighty God. But it seems to me it's the inadequate education of the good parish priest here that's behind his flimsy litany.
What? Am I to be criticized by someone who's more a gardener than a scholar?
Father Fabian, let Nicodemus speak. And you, Nicodemus, stick to the point, if you please.
Certainly, Monsignor. Please allow this humble gardener to put the good priest right, because he evidently knows nothing of the fact that other women before Johanka had similar experiences. Blessed Hildegard of Bingen also had similar visions. And what about St. Bridget, or Elizabeth of Schurnau, or Catherine of Siena? Like them, Johanka here only humbly spreads the message of Our Lady. She does not present herself as an intermediary of divine mercy. Please do not condemn Johanka, Bishop Yaroslav. In my judgment, her visions are genuine and her words sincere.
Thank you, Nicodemus. Your plea is very bold. But what you say about Hildegard and the others is true. You can rest assured, I will consider your words very carefully. Fabian, have you had trouble with heretics before, or had any suspicions of heresy here?
Not much, Monsignor. Now and then there have been traveling preachers and various charlatans here and there. Although, I did recently get reports that there were members of the Waldensian sect hiding in the province.
Waldensians? So there have been heretics concealed here. So, it cannot be ruled out that Johanka also associated with them. Perhaps they are even behind this matter, too. Thank you, Father Fabian. That's all.
I'm glad to have been of service, Monsignor.
I thank you also, Brother Nicodemus. You too may stand down. Call Hoshek, bailiff of Sasau. Bailiff, has there been any suspicious activity here recently?
Well, there have been Cumins on the rampage in the woods and on the roads, and all sorts of bands of footpads and brigands around the province. But otherwise, it's all been peaceful and quiet here, Monsignor.
How reassuring. And what of Johanka, bailiff? Has she been inciting the people here?
I couldn't tell you much about her. I hardly know her. She hasn't broken any laws, and folks speak well of her, for the most part. Although it's true, things have been a bit tense here, on account of her speeches.
Continue.
Quite a lot of people have been going to her since she started with that preaching. Some are even convinced she's a holy woman. From what I heard, they bring her small gifts or ask for her advice or blessing.
Sacrilege! People coming for blessings and bringing her gifts. That has all the makings of a cult.
Oh, I don't know, Monsignor. Begging your pardon, but that's overstating it a bit. But it's true. They met outside town, too, and it came to a bit of a skirmish. Nothing serious happened, though. Fellas punching each other in the mouth. If you'll excuse me, Monsieur, that happens all the time. Well, that's about all I can tell you, Monsignor.
Thank you, bailiff. I will be all. And you, Henry, you've been around Johanka more than anyone. Do people come to her for blessings?
I don't know anything about that. But when someone comes to her, she tries to help them, like a good Christian.
Henry, I'm sure you're aware that to lie here is a mortal sin and a crime.
I do. And I'm not lying.
All right. Anything else?
Yes, Monsignor. I'd like you to listen to Adela. She amended her life and doesn't live in sin anymore, all because of Johanka. Her testimony will show that Johanka is an exemplary Christian, not the leader of some cult.
All right. Call this Adela. Adela, until recently you were living in the nearby town of Ledechko, is that so?
Yes.
And how did you make a living there?
I served at the baths, laundering and repairing clothes, and preparing the baths.
Is that all?
No. Sometimes I went with the fellas and pleasured them for money. But I don't do it anymore. I swear. I changed my ways on account of Johanka and Henry here, and now I lead a decent life.
You're saying you simply gave up your profession?
Yes. Henry convinced me, and Johanka took me in.
Very well. Thank you. And since you left Ledechko, have you sinned with anyone?
No, monsieur, I haven't.
Good. May God give you the will to maintain your newfound virtue, Adela. And now, please answer one more question. You're living with Johanka now, yes? Tell me what she says to the people who come to her.
Well, they come with all sorts of problems. Some want just advice. Some want her maybe to bless them or talk to Our Lady for them. They believe she's a holy woman.
So, Johanka accepts gifts from these people and then gives them her blessing?
No, it's not like that. Johanka doesn't bless anyone. And she doesn't want any gifts from anyone either. Folk just bring them. The things they bring, she gives them out to the sick and wounded. She doesn't keep anything, I swear.
You swear?
Yes, I swear to it all, Monsignor. I'd never lie to you.
All right. You may go. Now I wish to question Katra, the swordsmith's wife. Bring her here. Katra, you are a respected townswoman who has a good overview of what goes on in Sasau. As you told me earlier, will you tell me now what you know of Johanka and her deeds?
Yes, I'll tell you everything, Monsignor. Johanka has been putting ideas into people's heads and causing chaos. What right has she to preach to us? A simple girl like that. As if we were bad people here, and she herself is a sinner. And an adulterer, a loose woman she is, who goes with anyone, and even fornicated with the custodian, Sir Sebastian.
Forgive me, Monsignor, but Katra isn't telling the whole truth.
What do you mean, Henry?
She's the one who set a band of thugs on Johanka several times to cause trouble for her and threaten her. She wanted to drive Johanka out of town. That's not the deed of a good Christian, plotting intrigues like that. She admitted it all to me.
Is that true?
I only did what was necessary to stop her from bringing us to harm.
Monsignor, you can see yourself that Katra holds a grudge against Johanka.
Yes, I must agree with Henry. In view of your apparent antagonism towards Johanka, whatever the reasons for it, I cannot allow you to influence these proceedings. You should have reported your concerns to Father Fabian instead of acting willfully as you did.
But she's bringing us nothing but trouble.
I will be the judge of her transgressions, not you. Nevertheless, I have also heard rumors of Johanka's immorality that cannot be ignored. Bring here the Sasau custodian, Sir Sebastian von Berg. Sir Sebastian, my apologies for raising the matter, but doubts have been cast on your virtue. I have been told that you have shared your bed with Johanka. Is it true?
Monsignor, with respect, this is surely some mistake. Johanka is not a bad girl, and by no means a heretic.
Noted. Now please answer my question. Did you share your bed with Johanka or not?
Yes, but she's not...
Silence! So, Johanka not only incites rebellion against the nobles, but also seduces them into sin and immorality.
Monsignor, I've known Johanka a long time, and she's a virtuous girl and a good Christian. She just needed support. It wasn't a bodily desire, but one of the soul. Consider what she went through. Her whole family slaughtered, and everyone here turned their backs on her, but for Sir Sebastian. Anyone can make a mistake, can't they? And she's sorry for her mistake.
Monsignor, let's put a stop to this. It's undignified for us both. And for Johanka. She's no heretic, just a confused young girl to whom fate has been less than kind. Her confusion will pass. All it needs is for someone to explain to her the error of her ways. There's no necessity for extreme measures.
Sir Sebastian, be so kind as to leave the judgment of Johanka's transgressions to me. You may go. Henry? You proved yourself a good servant of the Church when you told me of your disturbing findings concerning the situation hereabouts. You've been very keen to appear here in Johanka's defense. You've said a lot about her, but please, tell me why you've been helping her all this time.
Because I don't know anyone like her. She endured what would destroy most people and never gave up. She never wasted time feeling sorry for herself. Instead, she helped others, even at the cost of her own suffering. And she helped to redeem me, too. It's a pity everyone isn't like her.
It seems you speak sincerely, and you hold her in high regard. Your sincerity before God carries great weight. Thank you. That will be all, Henry.
Monsignor, please permit me to say one more thing. I heard some wise words at a sermon in Skalitz, and I think I should share them here. It's our Christian duty to fight against sin. But we must love the sinner. So I beg you, Monsignor, be lenient to Johanka.
You're right, Henry. Those are wise words. Nothing remains but to question Johanka herself. Johanka of Skalitz, you've heard the accusations brought against you, and we have also heard several testimonies. I already questioned you earlier. Johanka, do you wish to revise the answers you gave earlier, or do you stand by what you said?
I stand by everything I told you.
So be it. I expressly forbade you to continue preaching, and you promised not to do so. You defied my instruction and broke your promise. Why?
Forgive me, Monsignor. But I could do nothing else. Our Lady asked me to do it, and I couldn't refuse her. And I did the right thing. The Virgin Mary visited me again in my cell and showed me new things. Monks and prelates who took off their robes and put on princely cloaks instead. They threw down their staves, buckled on swords, and placed crowns on their heads. They rejected Christ's example and hoarded wealth for themselves. They paid no heed to the people, but only gave them absolution for money and...
Silence! You will not speak like that. I have already heard more than enough. These proceedings are closed. You may leave. Johanka will now hear my verdict. Johanka, are you aware you're facing very grave accusations?
Yes, Monseigneur. I am.
You stand accused of preaching from ignorance and leading the people away from the protective embrace of Holy Mother Church. If you do not recant, you will suffer grave consequences. Pride and ignorance clouded her reason. Child, it would distress me greatly to have to pronounce a verdict of condemnation. Speak then. Do you recant your sermons and swear never again to preach to the people? And are you prepared to repent?
As God is my witness, I did all this with good intentions. And
the Virgin Mary did visit me, and I would be lying before her, before God and my own conscience, if I denied it.
If you don't recant and return to the bosom of Holy Mother Church, then you have sealed your own fate. Take her. We must all be ever vigilant of Lucifer's evil designs and avoid being caught in his snares. Only Holy Mother Church can safeguard all Christian folks from the onslaught of the devil. Only Holy Mother Church cares for their souls so they may find salvation in the kingdom of heaven.
It's all true, and the will of the Blessed Virgin, her sacred will that I will never recant.
Sometimes, to save the body of the true church, it is necessary to amputate a gangrenous limb.
Full of grace. The Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed be the fruit of thy womb. Jesus. Holy Mary. Oh God.
Johanka of Scarlets refuses to accept the truth and recant her delusive preaching. Her tongue is an instrument of the devil. It must be plucked out and cast from the body of the heretic, along with the devil, so that her soul may be purged of evil.
Despite her suffering, Johanka remained faithful to her conviction. Brother Nicodemus tried to heal her terrible wounds, but in vain. Her cruel punishment was too much to endure. Matthias never lived to hear of Johanka's fate. Soon afterwards, he succumbed to his sickness. Although it's forbidden to bury a heretic in consecrated ground, we lay Johanka and Matthias to rest together, side by side, in a place where I hope they will finally find peace. As Brother Nicodemus said, surely God will forgive us for following our hearts. Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, sir.
Sir Divish, I finished the assignment you gave me. Pribyslavitz is up and running once more, and making money. And the church is as good as new.
Indeed? That's excellent news. I can't wait to see it for myself.
Of course. We can go right away.
See you later.
Welcome to Pribyslavitz.
Well now, I've heard some reports, but to see it with my own two eyes, beautiful.
Me and Marius did our best.
As you saw on the way here, the village is prospering, trade is booming, and the villagers are doing well.
I saw the new buildings as we were riding in. You've both done a magnificent job. I owe you my gratitude and commendation.
Thank you, sir.
How did you manage it so quickly?
We had to clear the woods and the ruins of the former buildings.
I arranged supplies of building materials and victuals from traders nearby.
Thanks to which we were able to build what you see here today.
And the church here has become the dominant feature of the whole village.
I'm especially proud of our church.
Indeed, you have plenty to be proud of. Thank you both. I can say wholeheartedly that you have not disappointed me. On the contrary, you have exceeded my expectations.
It's been an honor.
I quite concur.
Master Marius, I'd like you to stay on in the village. As soon as things have settled in the province, we can begin with the expansion as planned.
As you wish, my lord.
As for you, Henry, as I promised, you shall continue to have the income from the village, as well as the bailiff's office.
Thank you, my lord.
I thank you, Henry. Few could manage what the two of you have achieved here.
$12K, what the fuck? It was like 45,000 there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Down! Learn how to ride a horse, idiot!
Red feet, just this morning. Red!
Hey! Henry's...
Sir, I won the tourney.
I know! You beat them all black and blue! You're a true warrior, Henry. Really. Even I was amazed at your performance. And thank you, you saved me from Uncle's legendary wrath. Here, I have something for you. I had it made just for you. It's no more than a hero like you deserves.
It's very kind of you, sir. Thanks. I've got that necklace.
Excellent news! I'm not going to ask you how you did it. Here's a reward for you. Now you can carry on with your next task. I want you to sneak the jewellery into Carolina's trunk along with this letter.
Can't I just hand them to her?
You cannot. Under no circumstances must she find out who sent them. Otherwise the whole secret admirer ploy is fucked. Oh, and by the way, Henry, watch out for the butcher. He keeps a very close eye on his daughter, and if he catches you sniffing around, well, may all the saints preserve you. Once you've delivered the things, wait a day, and then come back and see me.
Fresh bread! Come and get it! Man cannot live by bread alone, but he can't live without it either.
Greetings, good night.
Master Bailiff?
I should say so. The bishop's vicar came to Ujits, and not even Sir Hanush knows what he's after in these parts. Something must be up, but I couldn't tell you more than that.
Master Bailiff?
Nothing of See you later.
Hey, who's there? The butcher has no use for fops like you, and neither has his daughter.
Who's there? What's that?
Hey, who's there?
I'm at your service. May the Lord watch over you.
Good gracious, it's Henry, champion of the Rat-Eye tourney.
I delivered the things as you asked.
I already know. My spies told me everything. She was wearing the necklace this morning as I asked in the letter.
So you'll go to the rendezvous with her?
Certainly not. I'm not going to pounce on her like a bull in rutting season. Her feelings must be allowed to mature gradually. Meanwhile, you'll get a potion for me.
I thought you didn't believe in witches' brews.
This is no witch's brew. It's an absolutely tried and tested elixir called Musk of Infinite Allure. There's a fellow in Sasau who sells it, and he guarantees its success.
Musk of Infinite Allure? Sounds irresistible. All right, I'll try and get it for you.
I'm sure I can rely on you. Here's some coin for your costs. Good luck then.
Salami, sausages, lard of all kinds, and scratchings that make your mouth water more than the finest cake.
What do you need?
I've heard you know of some irresistibility potion or whatever it is.
Ah, naturally! Musk of Infinite Allure! An age-old recipe, maybe even older. Tested by Moses himself.
Moses?
How do you think he managed to get his people to follow him through the desert for 40 years? It's extremely potent.
Yeah, so it would seem. How much do you want for it?
Who do you take me for? The wisdom of the ancients isn't something that's bought and sold in the marketplace. Did Jesus charge for his miracles? But since you ask, how about this much?
That's not much.
Really? All right, double then.
What? Why? You... Oh, why do I even bother?
If you like, I can mix the elixir for you in exchange for a small favor. This is a matter that demands experience and knowledge of the philosophical arts that only a few possess. It's not a task I can trust to just anyone.
But to your apprentice, you can, right?
See, you read my mind.
About that recipe.
Yes, you want to buy it?
Garlic soup for the winter.
Yes, I need it
onion
right
soup
away.
For the spring.
I
asparagus for
understand.
taste,
I'm sure you'll be
ale
more
tea,
than
dry
satisfied
love.
with it.
I won't be drinking it, fortunately.
Good luck then. Sausages, lava.
Vegetables, fresh vegetables.
Henry, I want to thank you for... What do you need? I can't. I just can't.
can't sleep again.
God bless you. What troubles you?
I got you that potion from the charlatan.
What charlatan? He's a man of learning who even cured the Pope of impotence. But thanks, Henry. I really appreciate your help. Once I drink this potion, every woman will faint at my feet. But I'm only interested in one. The fairest creature on God's green earth.
Yeah, the butcher's daughter, I know. And then what?
A rendezvous. She and I, under the cloak of night. And you shall be my herald of exalted words. You will hide and prompt me from a book of poetry.
I'll do what?
Here's a book of poems. I'll need a little time to get ready. Meanwhile, you can learn some poems off by heart. You'll prompt me.
Learn poetry? Me? That sounds... well, not exactly...
Stop wasting time and get to it. Come back to me in a couple of hours. I have to get dressed up and groomed, and it'll take a while before the potion takes effect.
See you later. Where's your torch?
Are you ready, Sir Hans?
Henry, something's gone wrong.
Open up. I'm not going to talk to the door.
That potion tasted rather odd, and now I have a feeling my face is broken out. How do I look?
You're imagining it, sir. You look as irresistible as ever, if not more.
But I feel as if I just fell face first into a nettle patch.
You're just a little flushed from the excitement. It'll pass.
If you're sure. So, what do you think? Can we go to the rendezvous?
Why wait? Carolina won't be able to resist you.
All right then. Lead on, heart. And you, Henry, follow me.
Creeping around like a footpad.
Tell me, Henry, how many girls have you had in your life? If you've had any at all, that is.
Well, there's been a few, but I'm sure I can't compare with you.
Ha! Very true. One day plays will be written about my amorous adventures.
Comedies or tragedies?
That might depend on how things go tonight.
Hey, you! Don't move a muscle. Surrender. You'll have to answer for your law breaking.
What the hell are you up to? I'll be late for my wooing. Get a move. I don't want to turn up late.
Help! Please, someone, do something.
Somebody help!
Got you. What? You're a You should have.
All right, that's... Damn it.
You've paid for your.
Help!
For fuck's sake!
Over here!
There's another very pretty girl living in this house here, but she's already got a suitor.
Since when has that ever bothered you?
Since the time her fellow threw me headfirst into a dung heap and kicked my arse for good measure.
It seems your future subjects don't hesitate to take a stick to you when it comes to minding the women folk.
I doubt he would have done it if he recognized me. I was, incognito. What the hell are you up to? I'll be late for my wooing. We're almost there. You'll hide behind a gravestone or in the bushes and don't budge from there. Otherwise you might scare her off.
Hide, Henry. Time to get started.
How do you know it's her who will come out and not someone else?
She got the letter and necklace, didn't she? She knows that I'm... That is, her secret admirer is coming.
And what am I supposed to do?
What do you think, dolt? Prompt me from that book of poetry.
Who's there? I can't see you.
Your most ardent admirer, fair maid.
Uh-huh. And do you have a name?
What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would still be a flower, wouldn't it? Start. How?
What are you saying? I can't hear you.
Gentle night, why linger on? I yearn thus for my love so long. Without her words to still my breast, who shall set my soul to rest?
Gentle knight, why linger on? I earned this from my love so long. Whip out your worthy silky breasts. Who shall suck my salty bits?
No! To have lips and yet kiss not is like leaving grain to rot. To love without consummating is like unsown fields in the spring.
To have lips and yet kiss not is like a leaking chamber pot. To love without constant mating is like nuns all feel in the spring.
What on earth are you saying?
What's that hissing?
It's a feral goose here in the bushes.
I shall love you then, my dear, as long as you lie with me here. If you'll not give your all to me, no longer shall I bide with thee.
I shall let you drink my beer, as long as you, buy one for me. If you'll not give your ale to me, no longer shall I buy for thee.
Jesus, Henry! What kind of yokel nonsense are you babbling? Me? You're the one who's babbling.
You're an odd one. I've never heard such peculiar poetry in my life. Where on earth did you come up with it?
It's the latest fashion in France. You've done enough harm. Better shut up and leave it to me.
How did you like it, dearest?
Well, it was, Father is coming! Hide!
Who is that talking? If it's some Danny again, I'll gut with my filleting knife.
I didn't hear anyone.
Did you hear what he said? Oh, I have a bad feeling about this, Hans. I think we should...
Are you still there?
Still here, my love. How could I have apart from you?
Father's coming! He'll kill you!
He will not. Because it'll never cross his mind where I'll be. Henry, it's time for me to claim my prize. Whatever happens, cover my back. There you are, you seducer! Now you'll see how a butcher protects his daughter's honor.
Buy me time.
You got some explaining to do, you bastard!
What are you after, you bastard, sneaking around an honest citizen's house in the dark?
I went to mourn over the grave of my great-grandmother.
Oh, yeah. Then what are you doing right beneath my window, eh?
Well, the question is, why are you trampling on Great-Granny's grave, eh?
Enough of your horse shit. One more word, and I'll have you.
Ah! What are you doing here?
Oh, my darling.
Get out! Get out or I'll call Papa!
My sweet. How can you be so cruel?
Hey, what was that?
What was what?
That noise. I'm sure I heard a strange noise.
We're here in the cemetery. Maybe restless spirits, what do you reckon?
I'd swear it came from the window of my own house.
Well, what's that got to do with me?
Someone's been creeping around after my daughter. I come out and I find you here. Quite a coincidence, eh? So, out with the truth.
You're quite mistaken. I've never laid eyes on your daughter, and if she looks anything like you, I'd rather keep it that way.
Why, you fucking...
What do you think you're doing? Climbing in here, uninvited?
Ma chérie, I came to court you.
Then go and court me from the courtyard.
Don't try to make a fool of me. I heard it clearly. What was that?
Probably just the evening breeze blowing down the chimney. That can make all sorts of weird noises.
Breeze? It sounded like voices to me.
Darkness and fear can do all sorts of things to a man's mind. But not to worry, good man. I'm here, and I know how to fight. Besides, those hands of yours look like brawlers too.
You really think I imagined it?
I heard voices too. Well, could have been voices. I wouldn't swear to it though.
Look, fellas, I was standing right here, and I didn't hear a thing. Do you take me for a madman?
Whatever you are, I want to know what you're doing under my daughter's window and who was talking to her. I heard it clear as day.
You've got a nerve speaking to me in that tone. Don't you know who I am? And another thing, how do I know this really is your house? You might be a thief.
You've got a mouth on you. Well, you can save that horseshit for someone else. You'll get the hiding of your life.
Show what you're made of.
Don't move.
Stop! Hear me! Stop!
You were seen going.
Damn it.
The Lord be praised. What brings you to me?
How did it go with Carolina, Sans?
It was a disaster, Henry. A disaster.
How come? Didn't your recitation do the trick?
What kind of nonsense were you feeding me? Carolina thought I was a thief breaking in to rob the place. I tried to explain, but she wouldn't listen. She told me to get out, or she'd call her father.
Well, you're lucky I managed to keep him busy. Only now he thinks I'm the village idiot.
Well, thanks for that, at least. Anyway, Carolina slammed the door in my face, so I suppose I'll have to look elsewhere for the love of my life.
Well, back to writing love letters.
To hell with love letters. Imagine. That silly goose couldn't even read.
Shame. She missed out on something very rare.
Indeed. Here's the letter, Henry. Read it. At least you're capable of appreciating my literary talent. Read and learn from a poet. Take care.
I'm honored that you should come to me. God be with you.
I don't need anything more now.
Here you are. Thanks for everything.
Good day to you. What do you need?
About those other things.
Excellent!
I went to look for those items you wanted.
Splendid! Splendid!
Bread and for frying.
So, show
Come
me
and
what
get
you've
it,
got
fine
there.
people. And pork crackling too.
The tooth of layman Procopius, which definitely isn't holy.
It isn't. But then again, one day it could be. You never know what course a man's life might take.
I suppose not. But it wasn't easy to get, so if anyone's the miracle worker here, it's me.
Calm now, don't exaggerate.
That will be all for now.
Our sausages will be here. Come and get them.
Take care.
Vegetables, fruit, apples, cucumbers, onions.
The sunset sound. I hope I can be of help to you, Knight.
They say you're the best blacksmith in the whole region. That metal you've tempered never breaks.
Ah, nothing but old wives' tales. Of course some of my pieces have broken, but only ever here, at the smithy.
No one's ever returned anything for you to rework, though, have they?
Not that I recall, but I can't remember everything.
I understand. I remember Father always heated up the iron until it was bright red, just starting to turn bright yellow. The furnace hummed gently and glowed, and then the water hissed. There was sweat on our foreheads too.
Fine words, and no mistake. I do it a little differently. I heat until the metal is 2-3 shades short of bright yellow. I ease up on the bellows, and after a Lord's Prayer and a Hail Mary, off it goes into the water.
It's strange to think that I'll never help him out with it again. Our forge will stay burned out forever, unless I go back to the trade myself.
It would be a shame not to, lad. Working iron is a worthwhile thing. Godly. It makes life easier for folk. And, let's be honest, you can make a decent living doing it.
And is that all? There's nothing else you do with it?
Well, that depends. I heat it up again after that, but not so it starts to glow. I just hold it like this at the edge of the furnace for a while, and then quench it again.
You quench twice?
Yes, although there's less quenching needed the second time, it doesn't get quite so hot.
And how does that help?
I don't rightly know. I found out about it by chance. I got caught short, needed to piss so bad I left the rod resting by the furnace by mistake. That's how I found out if you quench twice, it doesn't break as easily. No idea why, but I've tried it enough times to know it works.
I'm looking for pieces of a sword that a pilgrim from the Holy Land was selling. Would you happen to know anything about it?
I would. Of course I would.
Well?
It's a load of tripe. Only a fool would have given that trickster a single groschen, and I'm no fool. How about you?
But if he lied about that sort of stuff, it would be a terrible sin.
Don't be so gullible, lad. That bastard never saw the Holy Land. Unless it was in a fresco.
Goodbye.
Good day to you.
Master Blacksmith, I think I know how the tempering gets done in Sasau.
And what have you found out? Don't keep me on tenterhooks. Out with it.
He heats it up to red, 3 steps away from yellow, and then stops heating, says the Lord's Prayer, and quenches.
I'll be damned. That's pretty much what I do too. Except I just count.
I'm just saying what I found out.
That's as may be. But there must be something else he does differently if he does the quenching just like I do.
He said he repeats the tempering straight after, but only warming up the iron, so it never even turns red.
Tempering twice in a row? Why would he do that?
He said it happened by chance once, and he noticed it made everything stronger, so now he does it that way all the time.
Well, there's no harm in trying it out, is there?
Are you satisfied?
You did what I asked of you, so I'm at your service. And here's something to keep you going. See you later.
Who's there?
Jesus
Henry,
Christ!
stop!
I give up!
Go then. Fuck off and don't come back.
The Lord be praised. What brings you to me?
Master Fafar, Sir Radzig sent me to you.
Did he? He must think highly of you.
I do the best I can.
That's good, because this is damned important. Silver's our most valuable asset.
How can I help with these, evil forebodings of yours?
Sir Radzig may make light of it, but a large quantity of silver has been discovered hereabouts, and no one is guarding the Skullets' mines, the most likely source.
You really think someone could be stealing the silver from the mines? I would have thought that would be quite a job, wouldn't it?
It certainly would. Which is why I'd like you to go and check out not only the mine gallery, but also the yard with the smelter and the waterworks. See what kind of state it's all in, and if anything looks suspicious.
Is that the yard next to the Skalitz Mill?
That's the one. I don't know what state it's in now. There used to be a stock of charcoal and smelted silver there.
A silver store? Could there really be any left?
I doubt it. I'd be surprised if it was still standing at all.
What about these waterworks? What's there?
A stamping mill and washing troughs. They're on the bend in the river below the castle. You can't miss them. There are big tanks and equipment all around.
You said mine gallery. Just one?
Boy, there's such a maze there that it would take a week to crawl through the place. There's only one gallery I'm interested in, at the foot of the hill by a small fish pond.
Why just that one?
Because I was expecting to find a scene there. All the indications pointed to it. So if anyone is stealing silver, it'll be right there.
Should I be expecting trouble, then?
Well, I definitely wouldn't treat the job like a visit to church on Sunday. You could find yourself facing that pack of hungry dogs trailing the army, or a band of brigands.
I see. Well, you and Sir Radzig can rely on me. That's all clear. I'll get going.
God be with you.
Look out.